Now, I also want to take this opportunity to showcase you guys the importance of the development of the long head of your triceps. If you guys have watched my previous the Unsung Hero series, you would know that I've listed the long head of your tricep as the number 3 unsung hero on the list. Now, the reason for me to say this is because generally it's not very easy for you to see the long head of your triceps from the front. If I'm just standing like this, it's very difficult for you to detect the long head of my tricep. But that does not mean the long head is less important than the other two heads of the triceps, and also in comparison to over flashy biceps. And please allow me to show you. Although you cannot see my a long head of the triceps if my arm is like this, but the moment I lift my arm, you're going to see there's a piece of meat, a big piece of meat just hanging there. That's the reason bodybuilding judging standards for your triceps is called hanging triceps. The reason for that is because the long head of a triceps, it really is like some meat just hanging under under your arm, and that is actually the bulk of your upper arm size. So you cannot see it easily from the front, but you can see it once you lift your arm. And also when you turn to the side, let me just display. When I turn to the side like this, now you're going to see that yes, my tricep constitutes 2/3 of my upper arm, and as they say, the long head of my tricep constitutes 2/3 of the size of the of the tricep. So yes, definitely focusing on developing your long head of a tricep is going to be the key for you to have huge guns. So that's why in my eyes, Kevin Navarone, Phil Heath, Rolly Winkler, they have a more complete arm development than somebody say the old school Arnold Schwarzenegger. His long head is really not that impressive. But also for somebody with very impressive bicep development, say like Ronnie Coleman, 8 times Mr. Olympia Ronnie Coleman, his bicep development is really out of this world. Still, in his case, in his later years, you're going to find that what really constitutes the bulk of his upper arm size is actually the long head of his triceps. So yes, focusing on developing the long head of a tricep is the key for you to have huge guns. So yes, I've just displayed the effect of the long head of a triceps when I turn to the side, but also I can show you when I turn around like this. Now, if you can only see me from the back, then probably you can only see my the long head of my triceps. That's the representation of my upper arm. And if I have the courage to say that my long head development is not so bad. So as you can see, you should be able to see that there's a big piece of meat just hanging in there. And also, I've mentioned before, actually, let me just put a photo there. When you make a real lat spread pose, if you have really developed long head triceps, then the long head of your triceps, sorry, then the long heads are going to act as another pair of wings in relation to your latissimus dorsi. So that's the key to maximize your body width. And I think multiple people have mentioned this effect of long head of the triceps acting as another pair of wings in their videos. And probably the best person to display this effect is going to be Kevin Navarone. His 2000 Mr. Olympia, when he turned around and made this real lat spread pose and pulled the elbows back, you're going to know that's what I mean by saying that when you have really developed the long head of a tricep, you are going to have another pair of extra wings. So that's the thing I want to say about the importance of the long head of a triceps. In terms of its function, the long head is also very important, probably more important than the other two heads, the lateral head and the medial head, because the long head actually runs across your shoulder joint. So they play a big role in maintaining your shoulder stability. For example, I can say for myself that back when I was an intermediate, I used to do a lot of trap bar deadlift, and I can feel the long head of my tricep just squeezing there, trying to maintain my shoulder stability. And also because it crosses the shoulder, the long head crosses the shoulder joint. When you do anything like overhead movement, like installing a light bulb or just reaching for the overhead cupboard, the long head is going to play a crucial role in maintaining your shoulder stability, the overhead stability. So yes, for any of you that does a lot of overhead work, say like let me think about painting, plastering, or anything. So it's very important to have strong long head of the triceps just to maintain your daily function as well. So what are the best exercises to develop your long head of the triceps? Obviously, the first thing that pops into my mind is going to be cable overhead extensions. Yes, all these cable overhead extensions, because the stretch of long head is going to be very good for your long head development. And another thing that is probably a free weight version is going to be skull crushers. I haven't done skull crushers personally myself because I'm wearing a pair of glasses. It's quite a bit risky for me to use a pair of dumbbells or like particularly barbells to do skull crushers. So I avoid them. But if you are not wearing a pair of glasses, please go ahead and do them. Just make sure that the weight does not crush your skull, like the name suggests. But I think other two exercises that may just like that you're not paying attention to are going to be, one is going to be the dual rope cable pushdown. So you can use two ropes, and it gives you the actual freedom to move it past your body. This exercise was invented by John Meadows, and I have to say it's a very good exercise and very unique exercise because it targets the long head from the most contracted position, which is generally not you cannot achieve that easily with overhead extensions. That's stretched, but with long head it's fairly difficult to target from like really fully contracted position. So this exercise created by John Meadows is truly ingenious, and also it's probably the best pump exercise you can do for the long head of the triceps. So anyway, that's one exercise that you're probably not paying attention to for the long head tricep. And also another exercise I want to mention is probably the machine pull over. This one was Dorian Yates' favorite, obviously. You have seen him doing this machine pull over in his Blood and Gut documentary. But what I want to say is that yes, this exercise is definitely very good for your lats development, but also the long head of a tricep is also going to play a huge role in this machine pull over as well. But the extra benefit provided by this exercise is because of this extended range of motion when you're doing this exercise in the machine. So it's really going to stretch your long head much further than what normal free weight or even cables can do. So generally when there are different variants between free weights and cables and machines, I will lean more toward free weights and cables. But for this particular exercise, the pull over, trust me, the machine is much better version compared to the free weight or even the cable version. So that's all I want to say about the importance of the development of your long head of your triceps. Please pay extra attention to this head. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that they're less important. Actually, I would say that the more inconspicuous the location of a muscle, the more important it actually is to your overall appearance and also probably in terms of your daily function. So yes, hopefully you have enjoyed this video, and please give a like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to watch my other videos, let me just put a link over there. Thank you very much for your support, and I will see you all in the next time. Peace out.